right, lads, welcome back. Naked and Famous podcast. I'm Dan O'Cattle.
I'm Rob Vieira.
Hey guys, I'm Jimmy B.
We're back with the two gangsters, Benny Blanco in the building and Joey Castro, aka Fidel.
What's up? What's up?
The dynamic duo.
How we doing? How we doing?
The two guys who we have right now, two of the best hospitality workers you'll find, two bartenders at the Blind Pig. Benny also runs the cocktail program down at the Liffey 2 in Inwood. Artistic design, creators, and overall hospitable gentlemen. So let's get down to it, lads. How did you get into the hospitality industry?
I think the first job I worked in a restaurant, I was like 15, 16 years old. Thank you. I was there for like a week, and I was absolute shit.
Where was it?
It was this restaurant.
Tell them how it really
this
is.
Restaurant on Central Avenue, right next to the Christmas tree shop, Bellagio.
Is it still there?
It's still there. It's changed like hands, I think, a few times. But I started there like as like a threat to another employee there by the owner.
Yeah.
Because like I guess
You
he was,
you were the
yeah.
replacement.
Yeah, I would have been like he'd been fired like a few times, and then they used me to kind of scare him, and they were like, we can't use him. They're like, we need you back. So, so I got fired. I mean, but I was like, from when I started and from the time that I was there, each shift that I came in, I definitely got better, and they noticed that, and it kind of scared the person who I was replacing, so they did come back, and they got fired like a few years later, but it's all good. But that's when I started, and then I started dishwashing in other restaurants. I took like a break from restaurants. I started working in a cafeteria as a dishwasher. I did that for a few months, and a few people got fired, and then I took up their place.
So you were actually a dishwasher, so you have respect because you know the
Yeah,
hard
absolutely.
work behind it, right?
Yeah, like I know what it's like. I know what it's like when you're washing dishes and somebody puts a plate there, and you're like, what the fuck? Like you look at them, and like every time you put a plate down in the dishwasher station, you know there's like something in the back of that dishwasher's head, just like fuck you.
Yeah. We were.
So you try to be as kind about it as you can, and you try to like follow the rules of the dish pit.
Yeah.
The rules of the dish pit.
There's
The rules of
definitely
the dish pit.
The
There's
rules.
definitely rules and ways to work that, but yeah, it's a small part of the restaurant industry.
A couple of weeks ago, me and Dan had to do all the dishes at night time, and I was doing the dishes one night, and Joey came in and he goes, "You ever think it's funny how you start off as a dishwasher, then you start running food, then you start becoming a server, then a bartender,
And you're
then
like,
then you become a
one day-
manager, then you open your own restaurant,
Yeah.
and you're back washing
Back
dishes
washing
again."
dishes again. It's like you start as a dishwasher, you're like, shit. I hope this.
The
is a time
cycle
where
of
I
hospitality.
never want. Like I hope there's a time that I never have to do this again. And then you're like, oh fuck yeah, now I run food. And then you're like your responsibilities grow and like they're different and they're like fun, and you're like, one day I'm gonna open my own restaurant. And you're right back where you fucking started.
Right back where you fucking
Man,
started.
I hoped I'd never have to do construction again.
That's it. I mean,
Right? And then we started your own business, and it's like, oh, right back to construction again. And it's not like good construction. It's not like I'm building the place. I'm like sweeping up, scrubbing the floor, whatever the nonsense is.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that definitely keeps people in the industry is like if you know it's for you, like you see the things you don't want to do when you're working in restaurants or like whatever it is you want to do. There's certain parts of every job that like, or whatever it is you want to do in life that like they come and they haunt you and you never want to do those things. And you realize that in order to grow and to become better, it's like you have to face those fucking things. And I feel like that part of the industry is very, that's what I realize that's definitely a calling for me in it. And the fact that I will always come back to do those things that I don't want to do. Like we all do. I feel like that's definitely.
What about you, Benny?
Oh,
Side
so
to
for my first job in like restaurants was like right out of like high school. Like didn't really.
What
know
age you at? Oh, high school.
I was probably like around like 18 years old, and like I had just graduated like White Plains High School. And
Benny, sorry to interrupt you. We probably want to pull the mic a little bit closer so they can hear you.
I got a job at BLT Steakhouse in White Plains. So to me, I learned a lot there, and like I didn't even know what a butter knife was when I first started. Like growing up like in a Mexican household, like I had one fork and one knife, and that knife cut everything. That fork, I ate everything with that fork. in my fridge.
Did the fork have your name on it? Was there a specific fork?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benny's fork.
Benny's one was
He
red,
put-
white, and green.
That's
Underneath his pillow at night, wakes up,
Indeed.
eats his cereal.
right. Even the ice cream, I used the fork. It was amazing. But yeah, BLT definitely had a hierarchy, like very similar, like it was the like back waiter, food runner, you had like a captain position, you definitely had a chef, maitre d', and then we had some event space, so it was nice, it was really nice to work there in the hotel, and like, man, I learned so much about food, like steaks and like pastries for sure.
And that's where you two met, right? You two were working together, BLT?
No, we didn't meet at BLT. We met through a mutual friend of ours. I don't know if I want to say his name. Well, I'll say it. Well, I'll say the name he gives other people. He tells people his name is Sam. So that's our boy. I didn't really meet Benny until like right after high school, and it was through Sam. And Sam was like a wild dude. So I knew like anybody that he was hanging out with
him, in him.
I threw with him and in him, the unity.
The unity of Sam.
Holy Spirit. So it was through him, and like I knew that anybody he was hanging out with was probably an interesting individual, and I met Benny, and we hung out a few times. Benny was like doing CrossFit and like mixed martial arts, and there's a lot going on in Benny's mind. Like I could tell like from off the start that he was like thinking about a lot of shit, because like the way that he moved was very like precise, and like he was calculating the things that he said, and he wouldn't say like just like anything,
He doesn't say extra
and he
stuff.
doesn't say extra things, kind of, so I don't know. It was cool to meet Benny. I knew off the jump that something was very interesting about him, and like he had a lot of knowledge at this point that I had met him like in the restaurant industry, and like it captivated me. So
What a
after that-
bromance. Beautiful.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel moved by that.
It was pretty cool, man.
When you first met Benny, did the song "How Do Birds Suddenly Appear" play in the background?
I fucking love that song. It's a great song.
But lads, you did start working at BLT together, right?
Well, we did. Well, I started working at BLT. Benny was there. Benny left, started working in other places, and at some point, Benny came back to BLT. And when he came back, I was already there for maybe, I don't know how many months. But then we started working together, like officially for, like I think we were there for about 5 years working.
What
at
was the
BLT.
position that you held when Benny came back in the position he held?
I think I was either between a back waiter and a captain at that point.
Yeah, at that time I was definitely a captain, and it was great to work the dining room with like Joey.
Yeah.
Like I want to say I met Joey at like Anthony's Cold Fire Pizza in White Plains, and like I was like, man, I would love to work with this guy. Like he was so hospitable from the jump, and I don't really remember like the food at Anthony's Cold Fire Pizza, but I do remember the experience that Joe created for me, and I was like, you gotta go send your resume to BLT Steak in White Plains, and come work for the group, and eventually I'll come back and like work with you. So
Yeah.
it was great. It was like it was a good time for like
That's
4 to 5
incredible,
years.
man. Yeah. You literally you saw that service, and then you're like, this is something that you don't get everywhere. You
Oh,
just
yeah,
wanna recruit
absolutely.
That,
Yeah, it was like a pizza joint, but he was so knowledgeable on like the craft beer, like, and I'm not that much of a beer drinker, so like, I was like, wow, I gotta try this beer, especially the craft beers.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of things to sell over there, so like whatever it was a small menu. So I was like, all right, let me just know everything about it. And I did that for Benny, and he told me that, and that was at that moment I was like, oh shit, this dude's been all over the place. He's got a lot of experience, and to hear that he sees something in me, like that's at that moment I was like, I believed in whatever I can do in this industry. Like I felt that, so that was cool.
Yeah. Now we're like the dynamic duo, like Monday nights at the Blind Pickle Westchester.
Yeah.
Slinging
Everybody's
cocktails until 4 a.m.
Hell yeah, till 4 a.m. The best cocktails, top
right.
sellers.
Man, so I met Benny working at Brazen Fox. I think he was coming in after his shifts. I believe when I met you, you were working in BLT. But I remember you, I worked very briefly at Gigantes, just helping out there one night or 2 nights. And I was like, oh no, wait, there's Benny. And then back at the Pig again, Benny was a guest here initially. And I was like, I know this guy a long time now. I was like, he's always been 100%. And I said to him, I was like, man, as soon as we open up our dining room, could you help us out by running it? 'Cause I knew he was very knowledgeable, had a lot of experience, and I knew he loved the place because he was like, frequenting it so often. And I was, it would be a big help if you'd come work with us and we'll work you onto the bar. Once you hold down the floor for us, get us through that rocky period of, opening. Me and James weren't very experienced in running a dining room. So he definitely came in and helped us out a lot in that sense. And anyone who knows Benny knows that he's very easygoing. So he's very firm, and things have to be exactly how they should be. But he's not the type of person to press you about it or to, aggravate you about it or to be, a nuisance about it. He's just telling you exactly what he thinks and what should be in the moment. And
He's just ruthless with consistency.
yeah, ruthless.
Yeah.
Sniper precision. But I learned that in food running, seeing all the line cooks and the chefs, have their mise en place, and they were always ready for service. And it wasn't just the steakhouse; it was every restaurant, bar that I worked at. They're always ready, good to go once the doors open.
So mise en place is really important, and I think that's why you're so efficient, because it's literally muscle memory. If you have everything exactly where it's supposed to be all the time, when you're reaching for something, you don't even have to think about it anymore, and that's what makes it. That's why you look so soigné behind the bar.
Man's is smooth.
Thank you.
Yeah. I learned a lot working with Benny, and I always wanted to know where Benny was, and what he was doing. Cause
We outside his house, watching his window.
I want to
It's
see.
what's
I'm
Benny
like,
doing?
yo, what are you making kombucha over there? What's up?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Making
What
some
colors is
kombucha.
drapes?
You're peeking over his
Indeed.
window like this.
You got soup
Benny.
going? Benny, are you roasting a whole pig in your backyard over there?
So, man, that's funny enough. Is I've noticed myself, right, from just being around this guy and the culture that his family, bring. He invited me over to his house one time. It was his grandmother's 80th or something. He's like, yeah, swing by. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I don't think much of it. So I'm like, I'm not going to not stop by now that, he said stop by. So I come by. Man, the whole back garden, it looked like you took a restaurant and laid it out on the back garden. They have a big house and a big garden, right? So I'm like, I'm not expecting this. I come out the back. They've got a flat top. They've got a spit for
Fire
I know the
pit.
exact name of it.
Yeah.
No, for the tacos with the pork and the
The
El
pastor.
Pastor. So he has the
Yeah.
whole thing going, it's roasting,
Yeah.
like you would in a restaurant.
Yeah.
They have it's laid out the length of this restaurant, and I'm like, what's going on? And then I look over the corner. There's the whole mariachi band.
Yeah.
Right, they have the gazebos going. I'm like,
Mariachi.
they mariachi.
Mariachi.
I've definitely been blessed in a Mexican household. There's a lot of culture. So we definitely had the mariachi band, the taco stand, the fruit stand, and so many other things. And just I feel just in Mexican culture, we are hospitable. We are warm, sincere, humble people.
I have a good friend, Luis Miguel Rojas, and he's a pastry chef, a great pastry chef, and he's also of Mexican culture. And when you go to the parties in his house, you feel so welcome, and everybody's dancing in a circle. It's the most amazing thing. Family is really, really united in Mexican culture, and I love that.
I love a good circle dance.
I like a square.
Oh
dance.
yeah.
I like a
I can't
circle
I
square.
can't dance, but
I'll
for
get
my
shapes to dance.
grandma's birthday, I had some moves. It's her 80th birthday, so we had to make it special.
That's the way to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, to drop
Benny
it
only
low.
busts out the moves on the special
It's
occasions.
a special
right.
occasion.
But man, it really hit me because I'll tell you why. I've been to Italian parties. And I don't know if it's I've been to other Mexican parties too. I think it might be generally his family, right? Because it seemed like everybody brought maybe everything they could bring from their repertoire. I don't know if one of the guys was a chef and he brought the flat top. You know what I'm saying? I was literally it seems like everybody brought what they work with home, or that they already had what they work with at home. It wasn't just a regular party, honestly. It was literally okay, maybe this guy has a restaurant and he does this. It was everybody owned restaurants and they brought a little piece of the restaurant, It was really crazy. Like, you know, I've been to catered events that had less going on than what Benny's family did for their own event. It wasn't catered.
Sick.
Like, it looked like they had paid to have this catered, and that the catering company brought like full blown like gas equipment and hooked it up out his back garden and stuff. And then we had a barbecue at my place for Justin. And then I seen it was like it's definitely his family in a way, because then we have a fire pit on my back that I didn't really ever use, didn't know about. And Benny throws on the apron and he's like, "Oh, let me be the grill master." And I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." Next thing you know, I look over, I'm like, he did like 5 hours on
Oh,
the
yeah.
grill. Like, we couldn't get him off the grill.
I love to cook. It's like therapeutic for me, and like I really do enjoy like open fire cooking. So you know, a grill man, you know, the grill master over here.
Speaking of grill masters, lads, has anybody checked out Drink Masters?
Yes, I think the show is amazing. You know, Chef Rob actually handed me a book to read on like molecular gastronomy, and like seeing like the show, like it really inspired me to get to that level of like doing like molecular gastronomy cocktails. And like yeah, I recommend that you have it. It's very similar to like, you know, I want to say like Top Chef Masters with like Tom Colicchio as the judge. These are like legitimate like liquid chefs.
So give us another rundown. Dano, you watched the whole show, right? Give us a rundown on what it is.
I've been watching the show. I actually shouted out the guy and I showed his book on our first podcast. That was Frankie Olzak. So that was his book that he sent to me. I reached out to him and he sent me a copy of this book for nothing. And basically, from like checking out his place, I found him through Grant Achatz, who's like the chef at the Alinea. He had the Avery Cocktail Bar in New York and Chicago, which was the first production bar to do what they're doing. And to be honest, there's only two at the minute: Bar Chef in Toronto, which is Frankie's bar, and then the other Avery, which is closed down now because a lot of this stuff that they do, it can't be done to production, or at least they can't do it to the extent that they'd like to do in production. But in the book, it does outline many methods that you can use: foams, you know, airs for aroma, different aspects to bring, like, I would say, like, different dimensions or different levels to a cocktail, where it's like, it's not just a drink. There's more to it. It's almost an experience. But the guy, you know, when I found out that he was doing this show and I knew it was going to be aired around October, I was geared up to watch it for a long time, because I think it's going to bring a new level into the cocktail scene. And I think it's going to really inspire people, like Benny said, to like reach to a different level. And, you know, once you see something, you mightn't be able to think of it yourself. Once you see it, then you can think of different ways to do it, and you can get your own spin in it. And that's where the creativity comes in. But it is some of the stuff that they're doing, it would be very difficult to do for production in a regular restaurant. You know, because if you got like 230 orders of one thing, some of them take so much time that in order to do this, you would almost have to shut down and only run the restaurant like periodically through the week. But then there's other aspects you could do on the fly, just like this. And I think they're the things that we're going to see incorporated more and more into cocktails in New York, especially in the next coming 6 months. You're going to see like a lot more foams. You're going to see a lot more airs. You're going to see, you know, the blast chiller being used more, different flavors coming in. I think one thing you're going to see a lot is like the gels inside the skins.
Yeah, it's called spherification. So there's one thing I do want to teach, and that's reverse spherification in the future, emulsification, and how to use liquid nitrogen. So in one of our concepts in the hospitality group, I would love to do like one-on-one classes, you know, some like private events for sure, and like a lot of like hands-on training if, you know, if there's the market for it.
There's definitely going to be the market for. I think the emulsification is one that can be done like right there on the spot. It's very easy. You know, you just got to get your technique right. You can do it on the spot, and then you essentially like lift the layer from the top and place it on top of the cocktail. Give it different like you know, you're changing the anatomy of the cocktail. But the other stuff like the spherification is one specifically that they outline that nowhere has yet been able to do that. And we're gonna try. Me and Benny were talking about, like, we ordered all the stuff, like you need the calcium,
Demineralized water.
demineralized water, and then you need the alginate. You know, we spoke about we being the first people to actually like get this going.
Yeah, this sounds literally like chemistry.
It definitely is.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite like subjects like in school. You know, I was never big into like English class, but I really like chemistry. Just anything like science and art, because it is an art.
100%, it's an art, and I think to break through that barrier of to be able to perform for a restaurant that is going to be in production, 12 to 14 hours a day, to perform some of these acts, I think is going to be like a next level thing. And I think it's something that we're going to be able to do. But I will say some of the best places in the world have tried it and done cocktails with like a very small limit. Because like just like in the Avery, they do a spherification cocktail. It's a gin and tonic. They do like a lime cucumber sphere in it. But each cocktail takes like 50 spheres. Right? Now, to get these spheres, you have to do them one by one hand. And they couldn't make it work. They could only make it work if like they were shutting down, or they had a specific buyout or a specific amount of people that they knew, okay, we need 80 of these cocktails for tonight. But to just do and be able to consistently hit everyone who comes through the door, and then maybe everyone who comes through the door orders 3 of them, you could have to do 20,000 spheres by hand. And it's not something that you can just pass off to like your barback to do. It is something that takes a lot of care. Like every sphere needs to be done by someone who really has like got the technique down. 'Cause I've tried to do it a couple of times. It's difficult. Now,
What is this? What is this spherification?
so essentially, like, you're trying to capture a fluid that you've like flavored, whichever way you want, to change a cocktail that you're going to put it into, or to, elevate a cocktail that you're going to put it into. You're going to have to drop it into a bath of, as Benny said, demineralized water, and it has to be filled with a certain amount of calcium to get the alginate to react and to capture this ball. But it's not as easy as it sounds. The first time I did it,
Doesn't
I
sound
didn't.
easy at all.
Yeah, I think the easiest way to describe it to people who don't know, I think, is you're trying to make something similar to boba tea.
Yeah,
Now, those
the
little
tapioca pearls.
the tapiocas.
Alcohol in the form of like a
Yes, but you're making it from scratch, and it's not tapioca.
Yeah.
It's not like something you buy. You have to understand. There's
You
like
have to
alcohol
have
in these.
like your liquids like at a freezing point. Like it has to be specific, otherwise it'll fall apart. It's not going to
Sniper
work.
precision.
That's why Benny's on the mission.
The liquid nitrogen that Benny touched on, that's something that we're going to be working with. And that's something that I think we can definitely get that done for production. It's definitely something that's aesthetically pleasing, and it can create like different levels to a cocktail, or bring different like sides. You can almost have like 2-3 different drinks built into one drink, and then have them, slowly fuse together into something completely different. You could have a cocktail that initially starts off very booze forward, almost like an old fashioned, and then by the time you get halfway through the old fashioned drink, it would turn into a punch. And then by the time you get to the end, it could taste like a tiki cocktail. And that's something that we could definitely work with, and that we've been,
like
eyeing
Willy
up the last
Wonka.
while.
It's like the never-ending gobstopper.
The never-ending gobstopper.
It's the cocktail factory.
The never-ending daiquiri. I like it,
Never-ending
Joey.
daiquiri. You're welcome.
Never-ending daiquiri, where
think
we
it's
just keep
im-
changing the
I
flavors.
think it's important just to let everybody know to keep an eye out on OMC. This is the kind of things you're going to see in OMC in the next couple of months. Molecular gastronomy.
Molecular
Slight precision.
gastronomy.
Liquid chefs.
Liquid chefs.
How do you guys feel about these like bar secrets making its way out into like the mainstream of like, I guess, television? Things that are like into America's like living rooms, or the world's living room,
Man,
or wherever people watch
you know what? Like,
in the bathroom.
here's the thing. It's gonna up everybody's game, because
Well
a
said.
couple of years ago, it wasn't normal to like know how to build a good cocktail. Now it's becoming the norm, and it's still not the norm, but it's like it's more common, right? Like, you had to go to specific places to get a good cocktail. Now you can go to like your local area. You don't have to go to Manhattan to one specific place to get a great cocktail. Come to the Blind Pig, we're in White Plains. We'll build you a cocktail as good as any restaurant in New York City.
Well, the Fizz Kings.
If not better.
That's right. Game on.
Game on.
Like, you know,
So,
I just feel like all my 20s, you know, I really like would travel into Manhattan, you know, growing up in White Plains, like looking for, you know, the next cocktail bar that, you know, had like got some fame. And like, I really enjoyed like, you know, the whole like journey through that. Like going to cocktail bars, like Employees Only, Attaboy, and, you know, there's so many other ones, but like just going through like the cocktail list and like, I always enjoyed the booze. Like I always like anything from like vodka to like a light spirit to a dark spirit, like cognac, and like I had no problem making my way through the whole menu on like in just one night, you know. But like
in how many bars?
So many,
It was
so many
necessary.
to count.
Just one night,
It
now,
necessary,
take
but,
down all
you
of
know,
them.
He doesn't
just
remember,
just
bro.
just like Dan, you know, mentioned, you know, I had to wrap that guy like a mummy, you know, kind
Yeah.
of like a pharaoh, you know, and like
Put him away.
bury him.
Keep
So,
it-
you know,
keep
I
it
don't
in
drink
tune.
no more, but like it was a great experience, and like nowadays I'm blessed and I appreciate, you know, the journey, and I feel like I definitely learned a lot, and not only that, it was R&D, like a lot of research and
Hardcore.
development,
Of course.
that I
Yeah.
never really like thought about it until now, and I'm like, wow, like, you know, I like learned just from watching bartenders, you know, from the experience, and just like I'm like, wow, like, you know, I learned so much in like the 10 plus years there.
And that is the necessary part of it. Like one of the things, Dan, I'm always blown away is when I'm going somewhere and Dan recommends a place, you go, it's always good. I'm like, this place is more than good. But then you are always blown away by places that Benny recommends, and then you go and you're like, not only did I have a nice time, but this place is like really cool. It's cool looking. The service is great. It's like top notch. And to be honest, you wouldn't have figured those places out if you haven't have went there.
That's what one thing I always like want to know where Benny's at, and I always wanted to work close to Benny because I know that Benny's up on something. He knows something before other people do.
Man, I piss Benny off. I mightn't be pissing him off, but look, he's laughing because he knows it's like, man, at least twice a month, I text Benny. I text him all the time on his day off, but I text him for like, where should I go?
Yeah.
Always. I'm like, and it won't be like, oh, just where should I go? It should be like, I'm going to the city. I want to go to like the best Mexican places. All right, no. I want to get the best fish dish. Oh no, I want to go to ramen. Like I'll specifically task Benny, unfortunately, with like listing places for me to go check out on my day off, and I'm never disappointed. So I have to consistently keep an eye on them for these places, you know. But honestly, I don't think I've met anyone else bar you with such a significant repertoire of high-end cocktail bars and like culinary experiences. Like sometimes I'm like talking to Benny about, man, I went to Marble Dessert Bar, right? Marble Dessert Bar.
Did Benny recommend that place?
Benny put me on to Marble Dessert Bar.
Sick.
Right? Marble Dessert Bar is it's owned by a husband and wife. Both of them were chefs, pastry chefs at 11 Madison Park, right? They opened up this like essentially like a tasting menu.
But
right?
hold on, give people the romance part of it because this is like a nice story. Is it like?
The romance part is like they met at work. You know, these two people, they are like they become husband and wife, and they leave 11 Madison to like set up. I went there on Valentine's Day, right? So like I got like
Amazing.
blown away by them. But what's amazing about it is like that they love to do what they do. They met each other in a place where they love doing what they do. They're doing it at the highest level possible. And then they fucking obviously fall in love. And now they go and like essentially make their baby, which is like a dessert bar. So it's not, but it's a dessert bar as good as any regular restaurant. These people, and they're doing it in front of you, are anybody who has a sweet tooth, you're doing yourself a disservice by not going to Marble Dessert Bar. Because I'm fortunate enough to have Benny tell me where I should go check out things. He recommended it to me. As soon as he recommended it to me, I booked it for Valentine's Day immediately. I got like a 5-course tasting menu on desserts. I did some flavors that like I never thought of, which one thing that's nice about desserts, especially if you go to at that level, is like it's essentially a cocktail, right? Like they're
Yes.
giving me, right? Because it's like you're getting the sweet, you're getting the bitter, you're getting the herbaceous. Like they hit you with the flavors that you would want in a cocktail, but some of them I never. And then, just like the gastronomy, what these guys are doing, it hits on a lot of the similar. There's foams, there's blast chillers being used, there's everything. But the marble dessert bar blew me away. Benny recommended this to me.
Yeah, and like I feel I was really inspired by Anthony Bourdain. Like just watching there's a show called Parts Unknown, and like it really like inspired me on my Instagram to do Chicano TV. So like I really like it because it's like it pretty much documents my food and travel like over the years, and like I really enjoy it. I've had friends mention, why don't you create a food blog? But honestly, I feel like a kid, behind the lines, and like I think if I did a food blog, it would be work, and like I really enjoy just documenting my food and travel, and just like Anthony Bourdain, he would like do like the whole international culture live on like TV, and also like the food cuisine. So I'm really blessed to have watched his show, and like he's even has a book called I want to say Kitchen Confidential.
I'm pretty sure Marble Dessert Bar is actually shut down right now.
Yeah.
They shut down because they maxed out. Like they beat the space that they were in. They essentially have to move to a space to hold service because they reached the capacity. Like they're getting pushed far too back, pushed much further back, like with their reservations than anyone would like to, and the place is small. So, they've outgrown their space and now it's closed until they're in the middle of like figuring out a new space. So everybody who's watching should definitely, keep on top of that and see when they open up, because they're not going to open up a new space without trying to blow their last attempt miles out of the water. And I'm good that they're closed down right now because I want to go there. Like I always am like, I want to go to Marble Dessert Bar. Can't go. And it's like, man, that's like talent beyond what most people have ever experienced, especially with desserts. And if you have a sweet tooth, it's like you're getting 5. They're small, but you're going to get they're so different. The techniques that they use, they're so complex. The flavor profiles that they're building are so like nuanced, but yet they are never far off your palate. It's never something that you can't, put your finger on, but they've just changed it and it's just new, fresh and great. But
I feel like you can feel the love that people have, like for the things that they do. Like it definitely comes through, 100%. Like that care, like just being able to just love something so much and then doing it with somebody else that you love. That must be just like layers of love. It's like a love cake.
I think that's the
that's the dessert bar, Layers of Love by Joey Castro.
That's the key to hospitality. You shouldn't be doing hospitality if you don't love what you do.
Yeah, it's not easy to stay in if you don't love it. It's definitely not easy to stay in if you don't love it.
So
Yeah, I would have to say that
I love cake. I love that. It's great.
working for like managers, what really stuck to my head is that you can teach someone like table service, as in like you can mark the table with a fork on the left, like a knife on the right, but you really can't teach hospitality, especially like warm sincere hospitality. Either you have it or you don't.
I like that. I like the touch of personality. Like I would relate like hospitality to the server or the bartender opening up to the guest on a personal level. Like I was in a place a couple of weeks ago. I don't want to mention it because I like this place, but the guy who was the host, I seen him the last time I was there. So I was like, "Hey man," I was like, "I've seen you here last time." He's like, "Hey, my name's Jackson. Nice to meet you. Yeah, nice." And then I says, "What's going on? Like, you've been here a long time." And he basically opened up to me on a personal level on how he's not pissed off at the job yet, so that's going good. But he was like, "I don't hate it yet, so that's good." I'm like, so on a personal level, you opened up to me about how honestly you kind of have a bad attitude towards your job, but you still opened up to me on a personal level.
yeah,
Like that, I'm like, oh, that's
guess.
positive. That's really good. You know what I mean? Like you didn't even have to show me a positive time. You showed me how you're just waiting for the negative. Like you basically told me everything that I need to know about you on a personal
You
level.
greeted me,
But it's still
nice.
more. It's still more hospitality than you're going to receive in certain places.
So
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know all about bad hospitality.
Oh God, here we go. I was waiting for this.
I know all
Let
about-
us have it. Let us have it.
He's upset.
I
Let's
know
go.
all
Joey's
about
upset. Bring
bad
it on.
hospitality.
Yo, get
So,
it, get it out.
Joey has a great story,
I've got a few terrible stories, man. Like
but they're great.
I'm not. I don't think I'm not a very easy piece. I'm not a very easy person to piss off. Like I know when I go places, I'll go into places that are terrible. And I know they're terrible, and like I know how to navigate that. And I don't expect things, but when I go places and like when the whole vibe is thrown off, like I'm like, oh, this looks like a nice place. Oh, things look pretty cool, and then you get that bad experience with somebody who clearly is not happy to be
Joey,
there.
so what is, right, you're able to navigate this, right? What is that key moment? What is one of the things or one of the main things that, all right, now I can't do this anymore?
Oh man, like
Is it like, for instance, is it incompetence? Is it dishonesty? Is it rudeness? Is it
rudeness.
It's the rudeness.
It's straight up rudeness. Like I don't think nobody deserves for you to give them your if you feel upset about something and it's not related.
They're giving
to
you an
something-
attitude.
Yeah, what the fuck, man. I feel like that's the most unprofessional thing. I hate being like I have a lot of shit going on in my life. Everybody has so much shit going on in their life, and like I do a lot to not let that spill out over it because it does. It's easy when, especially here, working here is so easy to like not let your personal life get involved, get into
So,
this
so
place.
Joey, you're saying when the guest comes in and they're upset about something.
It's not my, it's like they're upset. I understand
Yeah.
that. The cool thing about this job is, you develop a certain type of mindfulness of other people, and you're able, other people can be upset, and that's fine. You know how to deal with it. And that's my job. I get paid to do that, and I mean, granted, I get paid decent, decent to do this kind of a job. It's all right. But like, if you're doing any kind of job anywhere, and like all that they ask of you is all you have to do is just say hi and say okay, thank you, and then that's it. Like it's very simple.
So it's specifically the rudeness, right?
It's the rudeness. People are just so fucking rude, and I don't understand why it's like, why are you like this? Not only are you rude, but you're also stupid. You can't do both.
Yeah.
You can't be rude. You can't be rude and
You can be
stupid.
rude and smart, and
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
be
And like, guy,
You can
that
be
guy's
nice
a
and
dick.
stupid.
That guy's a dick, but he's right.
The disrespect.
Yeah, and sometimes it's almost purposeful.
Yeah.
Like they're purposefully choosing to be rude.
Oh,
It's not
man.
like they're pissed off and they just like let some rudeness slip.
Yes.
It's like they chose violence today.
Yeah.
They woke up and chose rudeness.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
happened. Yeah.
I feel like someone like that though, it could ruin your whole establishment. Like,
Yeah.
If you know someone is rude, why would you have them interact with people?
Well, here's the thing: can they really ruin your establishment, or are you ruining your establishment by letting them be rude?
Yeah, I've got one.
Yeah, right.
I've got one for y'all. This is one to think
Detrimental,
about. This is one to think about. I had such a terrible experience that, like, if I was somebody else, it definitely would have ruined my day. But I have such a way of like making things like, especially now at this point, things make me laugh more than they make me upset. So I was in Yonkers, right, at this Dunkin' Donuts.
The story's
Oh my
starting
God.
off good. Yonkers.
I was in
Dunkin'
Yonkers.
Donuts.
like,
Yo.
it was midnight and
It's midnight.
Set the scene.
It was midnight in a 24/7 Dunkin' Donuts in Yonkers, and I go in there, and I see, like the most perfect strawberry frosted donut with sprinkles on it. It's in the glass case, and I asked for that donut. That's the donut that I want, right?
Specifically this donut.
Yeah, this donut, like
It's like a
The one
donut from The
next to it,
Simpsons.
That one.
this donut is not real. It can't be a real donut. Like it's there in the glass case.
It's like the one from the pictures.
Impossible.
It's talking to me. It's the impossible donut, and it's the sprinkles are arranged on it in such a way as they're just so like nobody's. I seen this donut and everything stopped, and I'm like, I gotta get that donut. So I ordered the donut, and
How
the
did
guy-
you order the
I
donut?
say I would like the strawberry I point in the direction where the donut, and I don't say with sprinkles. So that's my bad for sure, but I go, oh, I want the strawberry frosted donut. That's the one. And he goes to some other area and grabs a different donut. And he just grabs like a strawberry frosted donut with no sprinkles on it. And I notice he's doing that. I'm like, it's not too late. Like, I want the one with the sprinkles. He's like, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. We have the one with the sprinkles? So he's like, oh,
How many
okay.
with sprinkles are there? Is that the only one?
Huh?
This is the only.
It was the only
the only-
donut down there.
Yeah.
And it was the last donut, and it had sprinkles, and it was so perfect. And he goes somewhere else to get a strawberry frosted donut, and I'm like, immediately, I'm like, wait, no. there's more strawberry frosted donuts somewhere. But the one that he grabbed me didn't have the sprinkles on it. So I'm like, oh, hey, I'm assertive. Oh, I'm taking control of my life. I want to get the donut that's meant for me. I say, I want the one with the sprinkles on it. He's like, oh, you want sprinkles? Okay, I'll get you sprinkles. And he goes back to where he grabbed the donut originally, and he takes it and he starts fucking mashing it. Boom, back he mashing it. He goes, I got sprinkles. Boom. There's sprinkles in like a little.
Is he looking you in the eyes?
He's looking at me. He does it four times. Smashing my donut. I have a picture of it too, right? I take a picture of it. And the whole time he's doing it, each time that he smashes the donut into the whatever the parchment paper with the sprinkles left over from other donuts. Those are the sprinkles he's giving me.
Yeah.
And I'm so taken back, like astonished. That each time,
like you're like, oh,
each time he mashes a donut, it sends a shockwave through my body, and I make a weird noise. I'm like, he's like smashing.
It's already dead.
He smashes it, and I go, oh, he goes, oh,
no.
And he goes, and I go, okay, and he puts the fucking donut back in the bag. Like face down too, like now the sprinkles of whatever he mashed in there, they won't go anywhere.
The sprinkles of donuts passed all
Yeah,
over it.
this is no longer just like a strawberry like frosted donut with sprinkles. It's now become it's sprinkled donut strawberry frost. It's not with. They've become one. They've like melded into one thing. So I'm sitting there and watching him do this, right? And I can't do anything except for laugh. Like I'm laughing for a minute and a half in this fucking Dunkin' Donuts. And with my girlfriend.
When you start laughing, he probably thought, "Oh shit, I'm gonna die."
I fucking started laughing. I'm laughing not only at how wild this experience has been. I'm also laughing at the noises that I made as he fucking because I'm fucking just like oh. Okay, and I was also I was mad, and I was laughing at how mad I was that that's how I reacted. Like that moment took me by storm, and I just right. But I was thinking about how different it would be if I had a gun.
Oh yes, yeah, Joey. So all right, so let me quick introduction. So Joey's going to tell us the story about what he likes to call the hospitality gun.
Yeah.
Let me just say, Joey was really upset about this because the next day he came into work and the first thing he told me was this damn Dunkin' Donuts story.
Everybody in the Blind Pig heard this Dunkin' Donuts story, but it's worth telling.
It's brilliant. I think we've actually through this story we've found a product that's needed in America or maybe in the world that we live in now, known as the hospitality gun.
It would make your experiences just I don't know how many times better. I'm not gonna give you a number, but it'd make it better.
We definitely need an infomercial for the hospitality gun.
The hospitality gun. So
rerun it, Joey.
So let's play the situation back. If I had the hospitality gun, right?
At what point do you draw your hospitality?
Hospitality goes hospitality gun comes out first or second smash in the donut.
Right.
1, 2, and that's where I start laughing. Hospitality.
Sure, all right, so I'm smashing your donut over here, Joey.
And then I go, what the fuck are you doing? What the fuck do you think you're doing?
Whoa.
Take that donut. You put that donut right back. Put it down. Put the fucking donut down, right? Okay. Right. I want this one. Right on the glass. That's the fucking.
That's right.
That's the fucking one I want.
The donut chose you.
Yeah. Just put it in the back. Face up. Put it in the back. Face up. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how much is it?
It's 99 cents.
99 cents. Here's $5. Keep the change. Right?
Thank
Keep
you.
the change. Yeah. All right. And then you can just pass it to me. Put it down. Slide it over. Yeah. Have a good day. Have a good fucking day.
You too.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Thank you very much. That's how that's it.
It's
maybe.
that's a great story.
I didn't feel good pointing a gun at you, Dano.
Well,
didn't
you
feel
know
good,
what? It's
so
all
I
right.
don't
I'm
know.
sure you'll point a gun at me in the future at some point.
So it was loaded too.
Joey came into the pig and he was telling us this story, and he was so upset at the time, and he was like, "If I had a gun, you don't realize the level of service I would have got." I'm like, he's right. He's right.
Absolutely everything.
After Joey told us this story, right? All of us then replayed this story in our head or replayed a story in our head which we had a similar experience and in which we had the hospitality going.
We've all had bad experiences.
Right? So, for instance, you walk into a restaurant, you come in, you say hello, no one acknowledges
Nobody
you.
acknowledges you.
Straight away, you pull out the hospitality gun. Like, okay, I'm going to come in, say hello. You're going to say good evening, sir. Right? So we actually all have this story, and every one of us could run through. Jimmy B, you went into Chipotle, right?
I'm so
my
glad you
God.
asked me because I'm so happy that I get the chance to tell this
That's
fucking
where
story.
the problem. That's
I
where
go
the
into
story went wrong.
Chipotle very, very close by. All right, that's what I'm gonna say. So I finished the movies. I'm craving a steak quesadilla, and I don't know if any of you have ever had a steak quesadilla in Chipotle, but they're pretty good. Not gonna
Very
lie.
good.
So I walk into Chipotle. I'm craving a steak quesadilla. I get to the counter. There's 5 people standing there in the immediate proximity, and there's nobody else in the store except me and my cousin. So there's me, my cousin, and 5 people, and they see me and they just blatantly ignore me. Right, blatantly ignore me for a long period of time.
bro.
It's a long period of time. They're probably figuring out what they're going to do or how to get out and whatever the fuck they're going to do. So they ignore me for a long time. And I'm like, wow, man, not only did they fail to acknowledge me by mistake, they're purposefully not ignoring me. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. So anyway, after a little bit, one of the guys is like, hey, man, we'll be right with you. I'm like, okay, got some acknowledgement. Cool. So another long period of time goes by. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I know this is Chipotle and it's a fast food joint, but get your fucking shit together. So true. So anyway, the ringleader of the group, whoever was the leader of the group at the time, he's like, the guy will be right with you. So anyway, this guy moseys on over, trudging, dragging the weight of his coolness behind him in each fucking foot, washes his hands, right? I'm like, this fucking guy, and my blood is boiling at this time, right? Puts on his glove, walks over, stands in front of the thing, and he just looks at me. Doesn't say anything, just looks at me like this. And I look right back at him. And then he goes, I was like, that's it. Like, this fucking guy. And I go like this, and then he goes like this again. We're going like this back and forth. And then I goes, hello? And he goes, hi. I was like, give me a fucking steak quesadilla right now. I was like, I had it. I'm like, you can't fucking sit there and do that. And then he's like, he goes like this and he walks away. He refuses to serve me. The ringleader comes back, he serves me again, and I leave with my steak quesadilla happy. I'm like, I'm not leaving with this fucking steak quesadilla.
No, that's it. Yeah.
But then your story comes into mind, and I'm like, if I had the hospitality gun, and he shows up after going like this to me, I'm like,
That's it. I
think I'd hold it to the side.
I'm
for this guy.
gonna be completely honest. I'm gonna be completely honest. If after hearing your story, I would walk into Chipotle with a hospitality gun drawn.
Drawn. Greet me upon
Ready to go.
entry.
I was ready to go. I want a fucking steak bowl.
I've come prepared.
How you doing?
But again,
Good evening. It's beautiful outside. You look great. I look great. Give me a fucking steak bowl.
yeah. But
Give me a fucking steak bowl.
if anybody has ever, I think we've all seen Fight Club. But you remember the scene in Fight Club where Tyler Durden randomly gets this Asian guy and he holds a gun to his head and he's like, what do you want to fucking do with your life? And he's like, I want to be a veterinarian. Give me your fucking ID. Start being a fucking veterinarian right now. And then he's like, yeah, he was scared to share this guy. But this guy tomorrow, he's going to start
He's gonna be a
living
fucking
up to what he
veterinarian.
wanted to do. He's going
Yeah.
to start going along that way.
Yeah.
So I know this the fast food industry is a little different, but I guarantee if I'm standing there and the guy's like giving me a hard time and I pull out the gun, he's like, oh shit. And then just in the great words of Joey, he's like, we're going to run this back. Right?
We're gonna try this one more time.
I'm going to stand here. You're going to say, how am I doing today? And I'm like, I'm doing great. And then you're going to ask me what I want. And I'm going to say, a steak quesadilla, please. And you're like, sure, sir. Throw it together. He's like, that'll be $10. Here's 12. Keep the change. Thank you so much. And then I'm going to leave. Is that so hard? But I guarantee he'd be like, shit.
So I think we need to rethink the amendments in America, right?
Yeah.
And like whatever about the Second Amendment, whatever about these amendments, I think we need to add one for the hospitality gun, for the service industry, right? So I think we should actually do a skit in The Blind Pig where we play the rude hospitality servers and we have Joey or James or any one of us come into the restaurant and we'll let them get far enough to maybe they're halfway through their point of service, right? So they've sit down, nobody is serving them, no one's greeting them. Someone comes over, you know, doesn't give them anything that they want, doesn't help them in any way, and they're like, okay, we're gonna rewind this. They walk back out to the front door. They walk in with a gun. Maybe they cock it off, bang, right at the entrance.
Just fucking.
Everyone turns and looks.
Instead of clock, it goes hospitality.
Yeah,
That's
right.
it. It just says,
They say,
that's a couple syllables there.
hello, how are you today? The people are like shaking. They're like, oh, welcome. Please have a seat. Right, and then they come in and it's like, let me get you a menu. Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love a menu. Thank you today.
Thank you very much,
How's your day
yes.
going? Is it well?
It's good.
Man, having a great day. How about you?
yeah.
How is your day?
How is your fucking day?
Right?
How's your
Now,
day?
You just want better
When I
experiences.
come back in here, you're gonna greet me.
you're going to greet me.
You're gonna greet me. We're gonna exchange a couple, some cordial shit, some light. How you doing? Good? Me too. How you feeling? Don't be scared. Don't be scared. These are hospitality bullets in here. Oh shit! Sorry guys.
The hospitality going.
Man, the
For
level
me-
the level of laughter that gave me was like in the pit of my stomach to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm satisfied now. With the amount of laughter
Oh my god.
with that story.
But you can
I'm just
you
tired
can
now from laughing so
introduce
much.
the same concept into so many stories with that and laugh again and again. That's what's amazing about. Like, say you pull up to the drive-through. They're being assholes. Like, right, hospitality going. In the window at McDonald's, right?
Remember the time with Kirby and the
Yeah.
coffee?
Turn the milkshake machine on. Turn it on. You've got a $20,000 milkshake machine. It's 1 a.m. I'm here for a milkshake.
That's right.
Right? Chocolate.
By the orders of the hospitality gun.
For me, a little pet peeve is like when I'm leaving and I say bye and nobody says bye back.
Like, bang, bang. It's
Yeah.
Fucking said goodbye.
Yeah.
Is anybody here?
now available with extended clip.
You're not gonna treat me like a one night stand. The food here was good. Say bye to me. I wanna come back. I'm gonna do this again. We had a good time. Did you have a good time? I had a good time.
It's crazy
No?
the level. It's crazy the level of extremes we would have to go to get people to give you basic hospitality.
Absolutely.
Just
man.
like saying hello.
But they don't want to do it. It's as you said, it's like this person already is questioning if they want to do this. Never mind, do they want to be good at it or do they want to try to, make they don't want to do it.
But that's why, like, for me, like, when there's certain levels of like really not wanting to be there that I understand if I go into some fast food joint, I don't expect anything. I just, even if you're like in a shitty mood, like I get that, but it's like the moments that really like blow me away. Like, how could you be so like just so mean?
And negligent.
So mean. It's like you don't have to be. Nobody's asking you to be good at your job. Like, it's fine. You give me the strawberry frosted donut with the sprinkles. It's very simple. You reach and you grab the donut. That's it. You
Cling,
don't have
cling,
to,
cling.
You really
This
don't even
one.
have to smile at me. It's fine. Especially in Dunkin' Donuts. You don't have to smile at me. But like that extra, like this man took an extra step. Like, he made his job much harder than it had to be. He exerted extra force just to fucking give me sprinkles on a donut. When you could have just reached down, put the donut back, go and reach down and grab a donut out the case. That had sprinkles on it already. He had to fucking he decided to make a sprinkly donut. Crazy.
But that's like the energy that he wanted to put out into the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't like go in there to be like, I'm going to make somebody's day better today.
No, I'm
He
gonna make
wanted,
somebody's
like-
day worse.
Yeah, I am. That's the energy I'm going to put out. But honestly, when he goes home and he sits in bed and he thinks about the bad experience he just delivered,
That man's a threat to society.
somebody.
Because
America
somebody-
won't be running on that, Duncan.
Yeah, because like honestly, you think about it, if somebody was really fucking upset, they would come back to that Dunkin'
Cocktail
Donuts.
of the week, my friends. We have one conjured up by his very own Benny Blanco.
Nice.
Hospitality at its finest. Thank you, Dave. Benny, do you want to explain to people what this is?
Pass that on.
Yes, let me take one sip.
I'll pass this one to Rob and you can give me that one to your sip here each over. Thanks, brother.
What
Oh,
drink
wow.
what do we got here?
The-
I know this
the-
one.
The Insatiable. So the Insatiable definitely has, tequila. It has
Cheers, gents.
pomegranate.
Cheers, gents.
Tequila, pomegranate,
Oh yes.
chili.
Tequila, pomegranate, a little bit of chili, which is like the Ancho Reyes Verde, lime, agave, and a couple dashes of the orange bitters.
And this is Benny Blanco's creation, right?
Yeah, it is, man. It ended up on our OGs list. It's I think it's off. This might be one of the first
delicious.
cocktails that you created for our program, Benny. It ended up on the OGs list. Anyone who knows our OGs list, it's basically the cocktails that have sold so much that we can't take them off the menu, but we love changing our menu, you know, because we love the creativity. So we gotta stick them on the back burner and use these guys for, you know, the crowd pleasers, as you will, to give the people what they want. Benny created something that gave the people what they want. We couldn't take it away from them, so it ended up on the OG list initially.
That's right. I call it insatiable.
This drink literally gives your taste buds an orgasm.
Can't get enough.
You know, speaking of insatiable, it was real funny when this drink went on the menu first. People had a hard time saying
Such
the word
a hard time reading
insatiable.
it. Oh my god.
I'm like, do you know people not speak English? Like English is your
Was
first
it-
language.
I-
And they're
I had a
like,
couple
can I have
people
the
in here-
Instabale?
Can I have the
Yeah.
Have you been drinking?
Can I get the
That happened to us, right? We had like 4 chicks come in for brunch. She was like, I'll get the Insta Bali. And I was
Nobody.
like, yeah. 3 Insta
You've been
Bales.
overserved already,
You
miss.
want to know?
Unfortunately,
Want to
you
know
have
how
to
I
leave.
know? You want to know how I know a client is like, or a guest is somebody is like they're like, this is a formidable guest. I got to be careful with them. If they can pronounce insatiable, I'm like, all right, that's it. But if you can't pronounce insatiable, I can just make shit up to you. I can just say whatever I want. I'm like, all right, I'm lying.
Insta Bale, yeah. Would you like one wine?
Would you like one wine?
What kind? Doesn't matter.
Don't matter.
Hospitality going. What kind of wine would you like, sir? We have many. Let me list them all to you in
He's
the
like,
regions
"Listen,
in which they come
I'm
from.
gonna pronounce this word wrong, and you're gonna correct me. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna teach me how to read. Okay.
So, lads, let's actually talk about ramen.
You really got. I really got to see like how certain people really just don't give a fuck about. Like some people are really just in jobs. Like, and that's fine. You know, I get it. Some people don't want to work places, and they have to. So that's also a sympathy of mine. Like I'm like, I get it, no problem. But again, like it's not my fault that you're here. You're here now. Make the fucking best out of it. Like you don't have to smile, but like don't be a fucking little shit. I was in Long Beach, right? At one of the food trucks they have in Long Beach, on Long Island, and there's this little kid. There's some shitty teenager in the food truck, and there's empanadas on the menu, and I go up to him, and he's not. I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever, fine. Can I get some empanadas? There's only 2 empanadas on the menu. There's chicken and there's beef. That's it. And he goes, what empanada do you want? And I go, and he's like shitty about it too. I go, I'll have the beef empanadas. And he goes, there's only chicken. Oh my fucking god, bro. What? I proceed with the order. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll take the chicken then. Right? But if I had the hospitality gun, right? I'd definitely have pulled the hospitality
How
gun
does it
out.
go down?
I'd
Start
definitely
from the start.
I'd bypass like all like the fucking I'm a shitty teenager and working in a food truck in the summertime, whatever. I'm like, okay, that's natural, fine, I'll deal with that. But when he asked me which empanada I wanted, when there were only 2 and there's only 1 empanada available, that's when I
Whip it out.
listen, man. We're gonna run this back. We're gonna from the top. We're gonna come from the tippity top now, right? I'm gonna come up to you now. Now I'm gonna train you, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, how's it going?" And you're gonna say, "Hey, how you doing?" You're gonna greet me first. You're gonna say, "Hey, how you doing? Welcome to my fucking taco truck," right? How can I help you? And I go, "Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I'd like an empanada. Oh, there's only chicken empanadas today. Is that okay?" Boom. That's it. Done. Problem solved.
What do you say to that?
That's it. I say, oh, thank you. I'll have the chicken empanada then. That's what I'll say. I'll take the chicken empanada. You know? But,
Some people just don't get it.
well,
Sorry to interrupt. I had a similar experience a couple of years back when I went back to Ireland to visit my family. I was 24 at the time, and I tried to rent a car. So same in Ireland as I believe it's in the States. You're not allowed to rent a car until you're 25. So I go in.
yeah.
Yeah, so I go into the store and I say, hey, I'd like to rent a car. She said, okay, perfect. How long would you rent the car for? 4 days. Okay, do you have a license? Yes. Okay, what kind of car would you like? Small car. Okay, here's a small car. And would you like insurance? I'd like insurance, please. When do you expect to drop back? Friday. Okay. And it's a little expensive. I'm like, what's the price? She goes, it's $200. I'm like, that's okay. He says, that's the price, okay? She's like, cool, yeah. Okay, she's like, click, 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 click. She's like, are you 25? I'm like, no, can't have the car.
Right there.
We're going to run this back.
We're-
Great words of joy, we're going to run this
We're
back.
gonna fucking run
The
this
first
back.
thing you're going to say is, am I 25? And
That's
then I
what
say
we're
no,
gonna
and they say,
start off
unfortunately,
with.
can't have the car. And I'm like,
You-
I understand. Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you
time.
so much.
See you
Save
later.
30 minutes. I want.
Yeah, what
you
the
know
fuck?
Nah, fuck that.
This is crazy.
Nah, I want my 30 minutes back. That's what I fucking want. I want the 30 minutes I just spent fucking going through this incredible
you
paperwork.
make your own job harder.
You make
So,
every yeah.
I
don't
go see a
understand.
movie this week, right? I go down to the Alamo in Brooklyn.
Is Alamo in Brooklyn?
I go to the Alamo in
shit.
Brooklyn, right? It's the only
love the Alamo.
place
Same.
that's
Same.
showing the Banshee of Inniskillen. I want to go see this movie. Fucking amazing movie. But anyway, so I go down, Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson. Brilliant. I go down, I'm watching the movie. It's late. It's the last showing of the movie. I see on the menu they have unlimited coffee. $9. I'm probably going to have 2 coffees, right? No problem. I'll pay $9 for 2 coffees. Right?
Fine. Just in case I have 3.
Just in case I have 3. The dude brings me a coffee. You want milk or cream? I love milk. Gives me the milk. I take a sip of the coffee just to taste what flavor it is before I put the milk in. It's cold. Cold. Like not warm at all. Like, you know, someone forgot that they didn't check and they forgot that the pot was off. I'm like, guess they forgot, whatever.
Understand.
It's not a big deal,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, when the guy comes back, I'm ordering some other stuff. So the guy comes back, I'm like, just, you know, this coffee's cold. Now, in my head, I'm thinking like, you didn't check it. Who knows how long this is here. You gave me milk to cool down or, you know,
You're
my
already
already
cold.
cold coffee.
Already cold coffee.
I'm like, whatever, right. He gives me another coffee, comes back. Sweet, all right, lovely. Cold.
God damn.
So now I'm like,
The fuck's happening here?
right. I asked a different guy. Brings me a coffee in a to-go cup. It's cold. I'm like, right. Now I'm hospitality guy,
That's it.
right?
Yeah.
Because
That's
now I have
fucking
to
it,
be
bro.
the dick.
Put this
Yeah,
shit in the microwave, bro.
Yeah, man,
I don't care what you do. I don't care. I don't care.
I take the coffee, right? Right. I go back up. I go into like the waiter station at the back of the screen where the Alamo is, and I'm like, look, man, I'm like, this is the 3rd coffee I've gotten. I'm like, this is in a to-go cup. There's no way someone couldn't feel that this is cold when they brought it to me. I'm like, I got 2 cold coffees before,
Shit was great.
right? I have to leave my seat to come up here to hand it back to you because you guys keep putting it down and running off because they just fucking put it down
And they
run
fucking
away.
they scurry away.
Yeah,
like
they
little
scurry
fucking-
away. So now I'm like, man, just don't even worry about it. Just take it off the bill.
I don't want the
Right.
coffee.
If we had to run that back and I had the hospitality going, right off the bat,
You'd have fresh brewed coffee.
I would have been like, you're going to go back there. It says unlimited. That means that you have to have warm coffee all the time in case I want unlimited, right? Like the popcorn.
Unlimited, what
right?
unlimited fucking coffee.
Now you're going to go back there. You're going to make a fresh pot of coffee and you're going to bring it to me and you're going to say, this just came out of a fresh pot, sir.
Sorry
Right?
for
If
the.
you want another one,
Thank you for
just
your
let me
patience.
know. I'll be right back. And if you want one to go, I'll have a to-go cup for you. But man, it's just the world we live in now. You need a gun to get the
Fuck
hospitality
that.
from some
Take
people.
me to where you make your coffee. I'm gonna show you how to make a hot pot of coffee. Fuck that. Let's go.
while
Let's
the
do this.
movie runs.
That's it.
That's hilarious.
Pause the movie. Pause that shit. Don't act like you can't pause it. Pause the fucking projector. Everybody, we're gonna wait now because nobody wants to get me a hot. It's 3 times.
If there's a movie with Michael Douglas called Falling Down,
Fucking
and
great.
there's a scene in the movie where he goes into a fast food place, and it's like something similar to McDonald's. He walks in at like 10:31 or 10:34 or something like that.
He's a couple minutes late.
Breakfast ends at 10:30, and he's like, "Can I want to have some breakfast?" And they're like, "We stopped serving breakfast." It turns into a whole thing, but that scene is very funny. You should
You gotta
look it up
play
on
that
YouTube.
clip. You
Yeah.
gotta play
We
that
got to
clip.
play the clip
You gotta
with
play
it.
that
Just
clip.
clip it in.
Yeah, you gotta play the clip. He's like, "Oh, okay," and then no joke. After he's like sees the gun, he's like, "I want breakfast." The guy turns around. There's breakfast already
His
made.
breakfast
he just
already
grabs it and
made,
gives
grabs
it
it
to him.
and gives it to him.
And
Do you
at that point,
understand? That's right. Oh,
it's right
man.
there.
I never got a chance to watch that movie. I never heard of it until when you told me about that movie and that scene was the night that I came back from Dunkin' Donuts and I just had that fucking groundbreaking experience. Like amazing. Definitely gotta play that clip. It's a beautiful. I want to watch that movie. Full.
It's
I want to watch
honestly
it
it's a little sad because it's like a downward spiral as it goes. It doesn't have a nice ending kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the scene, I'm not gonna lie, is pretty funny.
I feel like it might be a very sobering movie for me because I'll be able to like, I'll see where my path of rage will take me if I let it. If I fucking let it.
Man, so I go out with Rob last night. With Rob and Joey.
Oh, I was there.
We pulled Joey over on the street. We're like, all right. So we go get ramen. So we've all been on this like ramen adventure lately where we're like checking
I
out
wonder
the best
why.
ramen spots.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder why.
Best ramen spots in the city. So it's like let's talk a little bit like of our experiences with ramen and let's give the people some pointers on where they should head if they're trying to have some really good ramen. So let's go around. Benny, like, what's your favorite place?
Oh, for me, I really like the Momofuku group. So I'm really big fan of David Chang, and like I would say, like last weekend, I tried a couple of them. One of them in Columbus Circle, and I want to say his other location in East Village. Now, the Columbus Circle location definitely blew me away.
Fire.
Like, the broth itself was so like to die for.
It's like velvety
And, like,
almost,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely. And like, I was surprised. It was like, in a big shopping center, that has like all these like fancy like retail stores.
There are
And
Michelin star restaurants in there too.
yeah, it was insane.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah.
for sure. And I was really impressed. It was like super casual, I feel like classic ramen shop, in and out. And it was priced at, I remember, $21. And I was like, this is really good value, like ramen. I really enjoy it. I definitely recommend it. But like, I also went to the East Village location, and I would say wasn't as consistent to the Columbus Circle one. Like the broth was, I don't want to say off, but it was different. It was different, and I didn't feel the love in that bowl of ramen.
Heard East
That was
Village?
after the Halloween parade in Manhattan.
Yeah, and it's funny that you said that because like I went to Momofuku as well because I was told like, yo, this is like a place that you should definitely check out. It's got great reviews now. I unfortunately went to the East Village spot and I told Benny, I'm like, I didn't have the experience that I wish I had in there. Right? Like I really didn't find
I've been to that one a few times. I've actually been there like twice, and I didn't like either time I went there. I thought it was like they're just like they're busy to a point where like they're condescending about like how like it affects the way that they treat people who are waiting and like that's a hospitality gun spot, the one at East Village. For like the two times that I went there, but I was like so patient and like I was okay with being like treated like garbage, and like fine. Now I'll wait. I want to try this noodle bar. But yeah, the one at Columbus Circle is notably better.
Yeah, I want to say it's their flagship location too.
It is, right?
Yeah,
So-
I like my girlfriend mentioned it to me, and I was like, "Oh wow, I had no idea."
I've been trying to tell you to go there. See,
Yeah,
that's one
for
thing.
years.
That's one thing that upsets me about Benny is I know Benny has like such great like spots, and I know there are places that Benny would love if you tried them. That I told him. It took me years to convince Benny to go to omakase sushi spot, and when he did, it fucking changed his life. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, man. Benny got lost in like all those like really fancy Japanese like steakhouses and like Wagyu tasting spots. You were trying to work at one for a little while, right?
Yeah,
That shit was
definitely.
crazy. You were trying to work there for like years.
Yeah,
Had you
there
training.
is a Wagyu tasting room that, unfortunately, in the business, you have to pass like codes and like, the building department, health inspection. So it was a little too long of a wait, but it like I ended up, with an opportunity here in Westchester, and that's the Blind Pickle Westchester. And I would definitely wouldn't change it,
Absolutely.
So, lads, I'm going to give you my spot. Unfortunately, sorry, I had to turn my phone on because otherwise I'll butcher the name of this place. I got two places. One is my top, but one is late night, which is definitely worth speaking about because the one we went to last night was good.
I really like that.
It was really good,
was
but it
good.
opened till 3 a.m.
Oh, sick.
So that's why I'm going to shout it in, but I would have butchered the name if I hadn't turned my phone on.
Nishida
It's called
Show 10.
Nishida Show 10, right? So, now turn this shit back up. Right, so Nishida Show 10, 2nd Ave, 49th Street.
Yep.
It's open until 3 a.m. serving ramen. It's packed. We were stood outside waiting for it to get in. Honestly, it was like their Tantan ramen was banging. Really enjoyed their Tantan ramen. We tried the black, which was a tonkatsu.
With
We
garlic.
also tried a red miso, which was a tonkatsu also. And I want to say my favorite was definitely the
tantan.
tantan. The
Yeah.
tantan was banging, but we got we got 4 bowls between 3 of us so we could share and check them out. So late night, if you're looking for something late night or you want to head out, you know, you're up in Westchester or you're in the Bronx or wherever you're at, and you got a way to get to Manhattan, and it's, you know, most of the ramen spots are closed at 11. Get down there, 49th and 2nd, Nishida Shoten.
Nishida Shoten.
Right, but that's not my go-to.
We actually met a Dara out there, but sorry.
We
sorry.
did meet a Dara.
Never mind.
Right.
The Dara?
So
No, different.
no. So my top place at the moment, I'm really feeling Mr. Taka. Mr. Taka really does it for me. Mr. Taka is down. It's just across from Allen Street, just off the Bowery. It's actually across from Double Chicken. So if you're looking for a night out, you know, where you want to check out 2 really good spots, Double Chicken's on the right, Mr. Taka's on the left. Their tonkatsus, I think their tonkatsu is my favorite tonkatsu that I've had so far. Anyone who's not familiar with ramen broths, tonkatsu is like the kind of original pork broth. It's very garlicky. I'm
Pork
a big
necks,
garlic guy.
mushrooms.
But it's banging. Mr. Taka, that's where I'm at. But late night, Nishida Shoten, 2nd Ave, 49th Street. They're open till 3 a.m. Check them out if you are after missing the 11 o'clock cutoff. At 11 o'clock, Ippudo closes. You know, Ivan Ramen's closed. Tabe Tomo's closed. Mr. Taka's closed. Okiburu's closed. All the places that, like, you kind of look into before you go down there and you're like, I want to check out ramen. All they kind of all close at 11, but, you know.
Nishida Shoten.
What about yourself, Rob?
I before last night, I really liked Ivan Ramen, but man, I told you guys I was gonna be eating that tantan in my dreams, and it like we kept switching the bowls, and I'm like, if you guys don't get this out of my face, it's gonna be gone.
I started with the tantan, and I wasn't going to pass it, and then I was like, I got to pass it because otherwise I'm going to be a cunt, because I was going to just house this whole bowl.
I almost housed my own bowl.
I strongly suggest going there, especially since it's open till 3 a.m.
It's brilliant.
If anybody in the industry, when you work in late night and you're actually craving a bowl of ramen and you know you get out at 1 a.m., it's so convenient that's open till 3 a.m. and the tantan is just amazing.
Yeah,
you know,
and
like,
second half's a good half at that time too. Second half's kind of cool.
Absolutely.
What about Joey?
I don't have too much ramen experience, I'm going to be honest. There was one spot in White Plains that was really good. Forgot the name of it. I forgot the name.
Is it still open?
Nah, they're closed.
So it don't matter. They
Yeah,
can't
it
go
don't matter
there
anymore. Nishida Shoten, honestly, Nishida Shoten, from what I saw. It turns out that when we went there last night, I'd actually been there previously, and I didn't remember. I don't remember the name of the place.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, because I went there
We're
and I
like-
looked in. I
We're
looked
like
in.
to Joey, have you ever been to any good places? He's like, not really. I've only been to like 1 or 2. So we're like, all right, well, at least you get to go somewhere. We end up the only 1 or 2 days been to.
Yeah, literally, I'm telling you, man. Like that's I don't know, something the randonautica. I'm telling you, like I just randomly go places and they're good. I'm lucky like that. Except for like when I'm in Yonkers. Yonkers is fucked. But that was a good Nishida Shoten. I'll say that. I like that a lot. It was nice. And Kashuya on Central is decent. And wherever Jufu took me to in Scarsdale.
So I went to a place a couple of days ago with JSco, who was on our first episode. The place was called Okiboro. It was owned by a chef. I can't think of his name, but the guy has a Michelin star somewhere. This restaurant specifically doesn't have a Michelin star, but the chef has one. And man, the thing was delicious, I'm not going to lie. But instead of getting a ramen, I got the Tsukume, Tsukume. I believe I'm not Japanese, I'm sorry. But the Tsukume is a little different because they serve the hot broth on the side and then they serve the cold noodles and everything else on the left. So it's referred to as dipping noodles. So you dip it and then you eat it as it goes. It wasn't for me, man. I'm not going to lie. Everything that I had was delicious. The broth was delicious. The egg was delicious. The chashu was delicious. The noodles were delicious. But the mix together is just so weird because the broth is like hot. But the noodles and everything else is cold, like cold. So because it's cold, it's starting to clump together. You're trying to pick it apart. You're having a difficult time picking it apart. And then because the cold noodles goes into the hot broth, it makes everything like warm. Not hot, not cold, warm. And it's like halfway through, you're like,
And ramen's
Temperature's
meant to be
gone.
piping hot.
exactly.
Meant to be like,
Exactly.
Yeah,
it
Slurping
sounds
it
like
cold.
it sounds like you're paying to do the work there.
You are paying to do the work, yeah.
It's like
But-
Gaikaku, man. I
But
love Gaikaku, though.
Dano, you mentioned this place was called Toby Tomo. And me and you went there, I think, a couple of weeks ago, and they had the tsukumi as well. So when I went there, I tried the tsukumi. And I'm not going to lie, man, the first sip, I literally said to myself, fuck yeah. It was so good. I felt like I was in a Pokemon episode. When they're after like trying to catch them all and they're going across town, they're after having all this trouble and they stop in some place and then they're like, oh, we got to stop. And then it cuts scene and then you just see a bowl of like anime ramen come out and it just looks like the best ramen
bunch
ever.
of shit in
It was
it,
like
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they offered with the tsukumi, which is, I think it's untraditional, you were saying, but they offer a hot stone. So halfway through your meal, because you're dipping everything in the noodles, the broth would get like lukewarm or cold. They'll offer a hot stone and they'll put the hot stone in the hot broth or in the cold broth and it will reheat the broth and then you take the stone out and keep going.
That's
Yeah.
fucking cool.
But,
I love a hot
definitely
stone.
cool.
But
It's like,
not gonna lie, it's delicious.
You
though.
go to Japan, there's a lot of places, and specifically one particular place that's like notable. It's in the Ivan Ramen book I'm reading at the minute, and it tells you about the chef, and he's like, you're not allowed to speak once you walk into this establishment because this establishment's for eating. And if you're speaking, you're not eating. And if you're speaking, your food's getting cold. And you're meant to eat this food while it's so hot that it's hard to eat while it's this hot. And you're meant to be trying to slurp it to cool it. You know, so traditionally they want you to eat this hot, boiling hot. That's one of the ramen traditions is like,
Hospitality gun not allowed.
I know you should pull it out if somebody starts talking. I was going to say, that's when the
he
hospitality
obviously has
comes
a
in.
hospitality samurai.
Actually,
sword.
you're right. You're
Hospitality samurai.
Right. No, but
sword,
see,
oh.
in this situation, the hospitality gun would be in the hands of the chef. Chef hospitality. It would be a
Yeah.
guest gun, which also is also very necessary. A guest gun.
Hey, so I want to give a funny story, lads. Like last night, right, we're in the ramen spot, and it's tiny, like real small, right, like tiny. And even the bar, like the whole place is tiny. I'm like, they're fitting, it's amazing that they fit this many people into this place, and it's packed. So like, we're having a good time, we're laughing away. Joey's like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and I'm like, man, I wouldn't use the bathroom in here. And like, maybe I'm being a wanker because I
had
look
it
at it and
in.
it's like it's small, and I just assumed it's gonna be like a little cubicle you can barely.
That's what I
fit
thought
in.
too. I was
And
I was
thought,
apprehensive.
Like, maybe you won't be able to even like, you know, enjoy yourself in there, right? So Joey goes in, he comes back out and he's laughing, and I'm like, what are you laughing at? And I'm thinking he's laughing at how bad the bathroom is. So I'm like, the bathroom bad? And he's like, no, go check it out. And I'm like,
It's pretty fucking cool. It's a
and
good
I'm
bathroom.
like, he's lying, right?
I really thought he dropped the bomb in there. He was trying to get one of us to go in there after.
Right. So
And
I'm
they're
like,
they're all scared, and I'm realizing, like, damn, y'all have some trauma from like, y'all have some real trauma. Like, people
Right.
lie to y'all. I'm telling you, the bathroom was nice.
it was Joey saying, so I go into the bathroom's big. Comparatively to the restaurant, it's real big. Like you could fit 2 stalls in there and there's only one. It's,
one really big guy in there. Like,
it's very
or a big woman.
spacious, right? Like
big day.
it's bigger than the bathrooms we have here. And this restaurant was maybe half the size of our dining room. Right? So I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, wow. Now the bathroom is technically in behind the bar and in the kitchen. So I'm like astonished, right? I'm like, oh, holy shit, wow. And I look down and they have like electronic on the toilet,
bidet.
like it's like a panel for you. It's not just a bidet, like it has like multi functions. There's like
You can get an
there's
ass
like,
massage.
Yeah,
That's
there's
No.
like,
There's definitely a
There's like 10
climax,
buttons
like,
on this.
I'm
like,
going
so
there
then-
tonight after work, no
I
joke.
see that.
Yeah, 100%.
I see
100%
that.
straight
And I'm like,
there. Anybody
I'm
come to
like,
get
no
ramen?
fucking way. I'm like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah,
right?
definitely going
It's
there.
got a
100%.
seat warmer and everything.
I'm going
Yeah.
nuts. I'm in this bathroom. I'm being loud and I'm going nuts. And then I start dying laughing. Because I realize,
Is that when the water starts washing your arse?
no, I realize that like the chef and the waiters can hear me. And I've walked in here with like such low expectations
just fucking
that
bugging
like
out.
they can't see what I'm seeing.
He's
so
bugging
they
out about
just
the
see
bathroom.
some dude walk in, the door closes, and he's like, "Holy shit! Wow! Oh wow!" And then someone dying laughing, and I'm like, I walk out and I'm crying laughing because I'm like, imagine what these people think I've walked into when in reality I'm just astounded that like they have a nice bathroom.
I will say, in Japanese culture, they really do have nice bathrooms, man.
Oh,
and they always
always.
have the bidet, and it's always a beautiful experience when you enter a bathroom in a Japanese establishment.
I'd say for the most part in Japanese culture, like there's a very big pride and cleanliness of all, like from absolutely everything. Like no, I mean, The wallpaper in there was pretty shitty. We do mention that. Remember
Yeah,
when that
man.
was. But the bathroom was fucking spot on, man. It was
was.
high tech. It was a new tech bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm all about it.
It was
nice.
definitely made in China.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and then you look out of the window, you see the A there shining in the window, and you're like, oh yeah.
There you
Come
go.
on.
All right, lads. Well, listen.
nice.
The day's getting on. Hospitality awaits us.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get and serve out the people of Westchester.
One day we'll talk about the Daras.
The which?
The Daras.
One day we'll
We
talk
get there.
about the
One day
get there.
Daras.
talk
We
about
get
the
It's
there.
not the
Daras.
day for the
Yeah.
It's not
Daras.
the day.
We gotta have Dara on.
Another episode of the Naked and Famous podcast wrapped up. We appreciate you. This is Joey. You want to give your tag on the IG?
Me gusta pan con te. MEGUSTAPANCONTE.
If you didn't, if you didn't already
Me
see
gusta
Joey on our Instagram, check him out on the Blind Pigs Instagram.
I'm
He's
wearing pants
featured.
today.
No pants.
Today's pants day.
And
Today we're
his
wearing
cocktails
pants.
right behind it. His cocktail, the Cramble.
The Cramble. An homage to the Bramble
There you go.
and cranberry jam.
Oh, it's a great drink. You can also follow me at Benny Blanco on Instagram. And yeah, you can follow my food and travel.
And check out the Liffy2 Instagram. Benny runs that. He's been showing some creativity over there, and he's working on cocktail menus to come. If you're in the Inwood area or Dykeman, or even if you're in Manhattan, you want to trek your way to Upper Manhattan, check out Benny. He's there 3 nights a week.
Yeah, I moved to the neighborhood Inwood at the end of the summer. So yeah, come check me out. I'm there Wednesday through Friday.
All right, lads.
Cheers, boys. Thanks for
Appreciate
coming
yous.
on, man. This has been
Beautiful.
great. I cracked my ass laughing.
I got you.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah, she was hilarious.